Regis, thank you so much for having us out here, man. This is a beautiful compound you have.
Thank you.
Home gym. We're right here in Houston, Texas. And, man, Houston's home for both of us.
Yeah.
I'm not from here originally. You're not from here originally. I come from Georgia, but you came from New Orleans.
Right.
And you sort of moved here out of necessity.
Yeah.
Hurricane Katrina, everybody knows that was a natural disaster and nationwide.
Right.
It sent a lot of people out of New Orleans. So can you tell me a little bit about life in Houston, how it was changing everything? And then, of course, your boxing career started while you were out there, but has really formed and grown into what it is now since you've been out here in Houston and traveling all over the world to train. So, yeah, just let me know how you feel about being here in Houston and doing your fight camps out here.
Well, I mean, for me, I love Houston, bro. Yeah, I moved here because of Hurricane Katrina, and shit, now it's almost 20 years ago, 2005 or
That's
6
crazy.
or something like 2005. That's when it happened, and yeah, man, when the storm hit, it was like everybody felt like it was a bad thing, in which it was a bad thing. People lost their lives, billions of dollars was lost, but at the same time, that was like a blessing for me. I know for a fact I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for the storm, you know, because it displaced me, but it put me in a way better situation. And like, I always felt like I don't want to say too big for New Orleans, because you never want to say that, but I always felt like I was too big for that in boxing, because I wanted to expand, and I always want to be. For me, I always want to be around the best competition I can be around. I'm going to follow the best competition I can be around, and I chase that. In New Orleans, never had like a strong boxing. I mean, back in like the 1930s, well, probably 50s or something like that, because I'm the first world champion from New Orleans since 1963,
So more
which
than
was
50 years.
Willie Pastrano.
Dang.
You know, and I'm the only two-time world champion from that city, you know, and not gonna be a three-time. Next to be a three, you know, but yeah, man, I always felt like, man, I just wanted to. It was just God sent for me, you know, to leave.
Yeah,
but
you
know,
grew out of the city, kind of, and not in a way where you abandon it, but like you said, you're a competitor, so you want to fight the best people in the world.
Right.
But when you're also a student of the game, you want to learn from the best, and sometimes you can max out whatever city you might be in. So you have to either move to a bigger populated city or a fight town. Now, I came from Georgia, and there's almost no fighting there. We don't do hardly any boxing. We don't do hardly any MMA. It's gaining a little bit, but still nothing. When I moved out to Texas 5 years ago, I realized quickly that Houston is a fight town, a serious fight town. Everybody's here, and the fights are always coming through here and everything. So it makes a lot of sense that you were kind of pushed west, literally because the storm pushed you this way, and then you wound up in one of the biggest cities in the country, under the great tutelage of Bobby Benton and Main Street. And I know you spent some time at other gyms all throughout Houston, and kind of everybody here that's at the high level, we cross train a little bit, and everybody's mixing and matching, but you got to get the right bodies, and it feels like Houston really is a good home for you. And it's not just you. You're not a one-off out of our gym, man. Like Oshaki Foster, Austin Trout, who's defending a belt in bare knuckle, in a whole different sport than what you guys used to do and what you still do. So I find it very fascinating, the entire world that is Main Street boxing, because it all started as Main Street boxing. It's one of the most legendary gyms in the world. It's had the biggest boxing names in the world for years before. Now it's got some of the biggest boxing names currently. And it's one of the few gyms that I know of personally that has the highest level boxers you can find on the planet, the highest level MMA fighters, and now we can add bare knuckle fighters to that. So it's a rare commodity in the fight world, because most boxing gyms just stick to boxing. Most MMA stick to MMA. Does being in a room with bare knuckle world champions, with UFC fighters and MMA guys, does that change your thought process, or does it open your eyes in any ways to maybe just expand on the world of boxing or come up with something new? Because I feel like when you have this many minds and they're all focused somewhat on the same thing, but they're all sort of circling around each other, you might be able to pull a little rub off of any of those guys. So do you see any benefits out of that?
I mean, it's definitely a benefit to it. I mean, for me, I just like being around the fighters, bro. Like, you know, even like it's just so packed. You know, y'all have the MMA guys, y'all have more than the boxers now. You know, it's packed, you know, and I just, for me, I love that environment. I love being around the fighters. That's what people don't understand about. I don't like everybody always asks me like, all right, what you gonna do after boxing? It's like I don't know. You know, I'm already set up financially what I'm gonna do after boxing, but as far as like what I'm gonna do, I don't know. But I love being around in that. I want that environment. I love that environment. I love just being around all these just fighters.
Yeah.
It's just like I just like that energy, and everybody is chasing that same. Everybody wants that same goal. Everybody wants that same dream, and I just love it, man. I love we going there Monday, Wednesday, Friday when we sparring.
Yeah.
You have both of the rings, they're packed with people sparring. Then you have the guys, the MMA on the other side, and it's more packed. And I just love that, man. I love having just all that inspiration. And for me, I kind of lost myself for a little while because like after I won the belt for the second time, I started moving around. I started training New Orleans. I started training Vegas. I started training LA. But it's like, man, like everything I have is like right at my fingertips, and
Right.
I think I kind of abused. I kind of like made a mistake and went away from that. But everything is like literally everything is right here for me,
Right.
and I try to seek it somewhere else. And sometimes I think that's a lesson. It's speaking lesson. My book,
Right.
my book is like that. It's about the stories and lessons from me. And this is another lesson I learned because I feel like life. That's what life is, man. Life is just all about. Everything in life is instruction.
Right.
Everything, no matter what, you got to realize in life, no matter what happens to you, it's some type of instruction on how to move the next day.
Right.
What to do the next day. It's just an instruction, no matter if it's bad, good. Most of the time, a mistake is a good thing. A lot of people don't realize that a mistake is a good thing, and it's just an instruction to teach you something. But that instruction was like, all right, I have everything here, and why leave?
Right. Why chase things or a greener pasture somewhere else? But I will say to counter that a little bit, you're a student of the sport. You love to learn, and sometimes when you become the world champion, you have to have a competitive edge, or else you will get caught up to.
Right.
And so when you're doing everything right, a lot of people will be like, "What I got is the secret sauce. I don't need anybody else's attention." Now, you were like, I'm the best in the world. I've got the belt everybody wants. But can I improve? And I think sometimes you got to take those risks, just like in fighting. You got to risk it all sometimes.
Right.
Higher risk, higher reward. And so I think that, like you said perfectly, it's a lesson learned. You don't win or lose in this game. A lot of people turned it to you win or learn, and sometimes those mistakes or those situations that wind you up in a different place are some of the best blessings in disguise, and you don't realize them sometimes till later. But
yeah, it's for sure. That's how it is. That's how it is in life, man. You might have the goal right in front of you where you thinking like, all right, is this the best I can get? And you go somewhere else and you might get a piece of copper or something like that. You know? And that's how it is. But that's what I did. I mean, like I said, I learned and it's not losing. It's just either you win or you learn, and that's all. And I'm still learning.
Yeah, and I want to get into your book a little bit later. We'll talk about the fight coming up. But man, the book, rave reviews, they're going crazy already. So I can't wait to sink my teeth into it, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers here are excited about that as well.
Right.
But October 26th. In Manchester, England. You're heading over there a little bit early to get acclimated. I can't imagine that the digs they're going to have you in are going to be quite like what you've got here at home, but I'm sure they'll accommodate to the best of their abilities.
Yeah.
October 26th, live on DAZN out at the Co-op Live. It's going to be a great event. You guys are two of the absolute best in the division right now, and you've been a staple in your division for years now.
Yeah.
You fought the who's who of the division. This is Catterall's first jump, in my opinion, into, he had the Josh Taylor, but his first jump into the real big names. This is
Right.
when you kind of see what you're made of. You get thrown in there with the top dogs of the division, the guys who've been there for a long time. Yeah. It's not somebody that bursted up off a good win. This is you've been in the game for a long time. And
right, exactly.
I don't think he's underestimating you. I don't think he's afraid of the moment, but I do think that there is a difference in the level. And I've watched a lot of Catterall's fights. I think he's got a lot of good things you can point out and you would have to watch out for when you're game planning. But one thing that sticks out to me, he's a southpaw, and I always point to speed. When you're fighting in the open stance, speed is a huge asset for you. Now, I've had the privilege of sparring with you leading up to southpaw fights like Zepeda, and the speed was always a major difference, and your ability to cut the angle, and it's the outside foot, outside hand battle all night long. Those can pose a bit of a problem for a lot of orthodox fighters just because there's simply less southpaws on the planet than orthodox.
Right.
But it seemed like you had no issues in the Zepeda fight, totally breaking down a southpaw style offensively and then dismantling his defense.
Yeah.
So are there some tactics for this game plan in this fight camp that are similar to the Zepeda or the southpaw approach that you took last time? And in my opinion, this is totally the conclusion I've drawn. If you go out there and you've shown that you can win a fight moving backwards, you've shown that you can win a fight moving forward. I would say that's your bread and butter is pressuring your opponents, making them break mentally and then physically getting them out of there. So I think that the latter of that, the pressure, is actually would be really beneficial against a guy like Catterall because he loves to throw. He's a big puncher. I think it's safe to say he loves to throw hooks more.
I can't say he's a big puncher. He got like 5 knockouts.
Well, he throws big punches, but he doesn't land.
It's like he has sneaky type of power, but it's not like he's not like a big puncher. If you look at his knockout percentage, it's like he got like
50% or something, right?
I don't know. It's something real small. It's not. Low. It's real low.
So I guess he wouldn't be a knockout artist, but maybe he's the kind of guy that once he does utilize his jab enough, he starts to throw. And I noticed a little bit in some of the fights that I was watching, he'd get a little bit out of his balance. He'd get heavy on the front leg and sort of compromise some of his base. And I feel like pressuring forward on a guy like that is a great way to steal any of those potential power punches that he could have. And then you'd have him fighting off his jab, which, again, I'll point to the Zepeda, the southpaw thing. Didn't work very well for him. You were able to get inside that jab on either side, inside and out, which for the insiders listening, to slip a jab to the inside and go into the harm's way is very difficult, but you made it look like the sweet science that was. So
right.
Yeah, I just love to get a couple of your thoughts on the Jack fight.
Yeah, I mean, first off, Jack not on my level.
Right.
Jack is not on my level. I mean, I just feel like, so me and Jack was supposed to fight maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. It just never happened. But now I guess they feel like it's a good time. They feel like I'm getting older, and they seen my last 2 performances. Which I honestly I can say they wasn't good performances. They looking at that and think that Regis is coming, but that Regis is not coming. The hungry Regis, again, like I said, the clear-headed Regis is going back out there. The Regis that got to the top, that became a champion, that became a 2-time champion, that's the Regis that's coming into this fight, because like I said, I the thing is, like with this, I've been here. He hasn't. He doesn't know, and it's like I said, it's a level. It's levels to this stuff. And that's the main thing, man. It doesn't matter about like what he does good, what he does bad. Point blank period, he's not a better fighter than me.
Right.
He's just not, and then I'm used to fighting. I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, how fast I am. That's the thing too. They think I'm just power, just left hand, just power, but I'm way faster than what I seem. Especially like once I get in the ring with you, it's like it's a whole a big difference. So I mean that's the main thing, man. I think I just know like Jack is just not on my level. The only thing he has going for him is the fight's gonna be in the UK. That's it, literally. But it's everything else, like style to style, me versus him, he's just not better, and I just can't see it.
Well, that brings me to my next point. So fighting in England, is that a topic that agitates you or anything at all? I know that there was a time where you said you probably wouldn't go back over there and fight.
Right.
Now cut to a few weeks from now, you'll be over there fighting. And I know you were vocal about it a little bit, that they sort of forced your hand into fighting over there. And, what are your thoughts on that? And does that ultimately... I don't want to give anything away. Does that change the game plan? Because boxing is a dirty sport, just like MMA. We watch it all the time. Every weekend, somebody's getting robbed. Right. Which I want to touch on. Shock's robbery of the year, in my opinion, later. But does it give you any more incentive to just go out there and look for the finish, or do you really want to make a statement and show that, like, hey, I can use the judges even against you in your own home country?
I feel like I want to make a statement. That's the main thing I want to make. I mean, for me, this is not about me versus Jack. This is a me versus, I want to be back on the top. Everybody. That's it. Everybody. This is me versus everybody. This is not, I just don't want to feel like I'm better than Jack. I want to feel like I'm the best in the world at 140. That's it. That's the only reason I do it. If not, I don't even need to do none of this stuff. After we done with this, I got to train again. So it's like, what's the point of doing it if you're not trying to be the best? That's how I look at things. So I want to, I just want to go out there and just go out there and be me and shine And if it could go to judge's hands, and then I'm gonna get the decision because it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be that clear to where like I'm that much of that. That's how good I am. That's how much better I am than him.
Yeah, and you got to have that sort of belief in yourself. It's self-belief that gets people to your type of level. And the confidence when you say he's just not on my level, it's not something that you have to go look in your bathroom mirror and be like, he's not good. I
don't have to do that. It's not false confidence. I just know. You look at the resume. Look what I did. At the same time, Jack is, he got famous from Josh Taylor. To be honest, that's it. Besides that, it's nothing else on his resume. He fought a Foley, he fought Linares, he fought Tyrone McKenna. Me and him fought Tyrone McKenna, and I stopped Tyrone McKenna. McKenna's I'm cool with. That's one of my friends. But at the same time, he went the distance with him, and I stopped him.
Right.
And it's like. And besides the Josh Taylor thing, it's like, what else does he have? You could look at my resume, check my resume, and see what I have, and it's way longer. And I just feel like, I really feel like it's all set up for me. And one of my friends, he said, he was like, man, the matter of fact, Ross Williams, the dude that wrote my book, he was like, listen, I feel like Matchroom is setting this up for him to win. But God has set this up for me to win.
Yeah.
And I just feel it, I just really feel like all this stuff is being set up for me. And all right, let me tell you the story, bro. Like, so originally I was in Vegas training, for this fight. The fight was supposed to be August 24th. I was out there training. And some things happened in Vegas. I just, I was ready to come home. And I love training here, honestly, like, cause I train here every night. So I love training in my own gym every night. So so it was things that happened in Vegas, and it was Friday, and I was sparring. I was like, all right, I was thinking about, all right, we're gonna leave. And then Saturday morning, I woke up. I run sprints with my coach, and then Saturday morning, I woke up. I was like, I'm leaving today.
Okay,
like leaving. I'm going. I said, look, we gonna do this, and I'm leaving. I literally drove all the way back here
from Vegas to Houston.
From Vegas to Houston, I called Bobby. I said, Bobby, what's up? We gonna, we train or what? Bobby was shocked. He didn't know what was going on. I was like, yeah, like I'm coming back. And so I drove. I left Vegas Saturday, maybe like 4 or 5 p.m. I got here, same thing, like 5 p.m. Sunday.
Damn, so you barely stopped, huh?
Yeah, barely didn't stop. Now it was me, my coach, and my chef. Oh. We all drove. So I drove. Got here Sunday. I started back camp again Monday. Monday I got the call. I trained, I sparred, I came to the gym, sparred. Monday I got the call that the fight was off. Me and Jack, the fight is off.
Wow.
It was postponed. So it's like, damn, like look how things just work out for me, like, and Bobby, he was scared because he wasn't trained. I was training with somebody else in Vegas, right. So he didn't know how I was looking. He didn't know none of this stuff. So he was like, he just wanted to see. And then I was sharp as shit in sparring. Right. I was sharp as shit. Like I was scared. I didn't know. I was like, I'm still Bobby. I'm still me at the end of the day. But
a couple weeks somewhere else isn't going to change who you are.
You're right. Well, they try to different. You go with different trainers. They try to change your style. They do different things. But that's why I like Bobby. Bobby works on me with my style. He doesn't try to change me. He wants me to be better at my style, and that's why I just love about it. So, like I said, I got here Sunday. I trained Monday. I sparred. I was chilling, watching TV or something like that, and I got the call. I got the call a few hours. Somebody else was like, I'm hearing that Jack might pull out, and I was like, all right. And I told Bobby, and he was like, well, look, we still train tonight. Don't worry about it. Let's not worry about that. We still gonna train tonight. I was like, all right, cool. I got a few hours later, I got another call, confirmed it. That was a real call. I told him, he was like, yeah, I heard. So it's like, look how this played out. And now I came here and I did a full camp, like right back where I wanted to do in my own gym, back in Houston with all the guys I wanted to train with. Everything. It's so look how it's just working for me. It just worked out way, way better for me. That's why I feel like this is just is set up for me.
Yeah.
And going in the UK, I look at it as a good thing because, all right, I'll be right after this. I'll be right back on top of the world. Yeah. Like, all right, I got a decision of whether I'll be Jack in his hometown. Look how big that is. Because, it is. It's expected for him to win. It's expected for him his coming out party, him to win this big event. And I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna destroy all that. And so
spoil
look how
party.
I'm gonna spoil everything from them. They just don't realize like what's about to happen, what's about to come. And it's just a bigger story for me.
Yeah, man. This is and look, you're on your come up for a third world title. He's never tasted the world title like you have. So while he might have hunger, he's never been there. He's never dug quite deep enough to get to that sort of level. And I think that those little things, the experience that you have, the big fight feel experience that you have, you know, it's one thing to fight in front of a sold out arena, but when you have that fight that comes out, when you both men walk out and you feel it in your stomach, you know, he's feeling that as well. You're ice cold. You've been dealing with that for a long time. So it's nothing new for you. And I'm sure he's been, you know, brought up the right way where he's fighting in front of crowds that are bigger and bigger, but now the shows this is his backyard. This one is a definitely different story. See, I fought in, you know, sold out arenas across the sea already. I did all that stuff already. So this is his first time actually doing that type of stuff. So yeah, you know, everybody could say they not gonna be nervous, but when you get there or them lights come on and you like, all right, you stand across the ring from a killer. That's the difference. You know, when you stand, it's like, yeah, you can say all that, you can have all that, you can fake all this stuff. But once you standing across that ring, once you under them lights and you standing across that ring from a killer, you know somebody that's coming. It's like, all right, now what you gonna do? Yeah, like he says, Floyd Mayweather, the fans can't fight for you. At some point, you got to just wait for the bell to start, and then you're in there. But yeah, and a lot of times in combat sports, I would say across the board, home court advantage is actually a home court disadvantage. A lot of people have a hard time fighting in front of their home crowd.
I did. Yeah. When I fought in New Orleans, it was terrible. You know, I was like, it's just the hometown thing is just, I mean, because you dealing with so many different people. You talk about people that you haven't seen in forever, people you went to school in the second grade and all that stuff, and teachers and like, and everybody hitting you up for tickets, and it's like, how you tell these people no? You have to face them. You know, it's just it'd be so hard, man. So yeah, dealing with that it's rough.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level. People don't realize it's like, you see my face on the poster, I should be the last person you contact. And I got enough going on right now.
That people don't realize that. You know,
but, it's their moment.
That's their moment. You know, they didn't see you in years, and can I get a ticket? And then you might give somebody a ticket. Guess what? They mad where they sit at. Like. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is the best you can get me. It's like,
it's
hey,
crazy. Everybody want to be ringside. You know, it's like, man, it's crazy, bro. Yeah. That's how it is. But yeah, when you fight hometown, man, you deal with so much stuff.
Yeah, and you were talking about your two last performances, and I don't even really consider the New Orleans, the homecoming fight. Look, that was a lot of things happened right before that fight took place, and like you were the man of the you were the king of New Orleans that night. Still are, I guess. But you know, it's one of those situations where people are looking for any way to find a blemish in your game. It's like, oh, he won, but it was kind of off night. So let's see if we can capitalize on that. And, you know, it's like the old adage, and a lot of people see this a lot in the fight world. Timing is everything. You were mentioning earlier that you and Catterall were scheduled to fight or planning on fighting a few years ago. You were the heavy favorite back then. Right. And the only thing that's changed in those few years is you've got another world title to your credit. So I think that a lot of people buy into the hype, even the odds makers, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening. You know, I'm not here. I'm a bit biased. I'll be completely honest, but I also watch fights all day, every day. This is what we do. We train every day. We fight, and I see this fight going your way, man. Like you said, this is God's plan. It sounds a little bit cliche. It's God's plan.
Yeah, it's cliche, but like I say, I mean, that's just how I feel, man. I just can't see me. It's like, I can't see how can I even lose this fight. That's what I'm thinking, like, what can he do to me? You know, like, he's not faster. Although he says his feet fast, his feet are not faster. No. You know, he doesn't have a better chin. He doesn't hit harder. He doesn't have more endurance. It's like, what can you, like I said, the only thing that's going is that he's in the UK. That's literally the only thing that's going for him, I feel. And that really might go against him, to be honest. Yeah. You know, so it's like, I just can't see nothing. I can't see how he's going to, like, what he's going to do. And I think the only thing they thinking about is like, all right, I'm going to look like that. But it's like, I'm still me. And and you have to, as a fighter, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to know when, all right, maybe I'm not that person, but I'm still that person. Matter of fact, I'm probably better right now than I was when I won the title the first two times. I think I'm actually getting better right now because I'm learning more things about my body, how to take care of my body a little more, and just training just a little better. So, yeah, man, I just think like it's gonna be a real big rude awakening. Come October 26th.
Yeah, and you know. I would say a lot of athletes these days are so in tune with their bodies and what to do nutritionally and just how to get an advantage in your recovery so you can perform at your best, both in practice and in the games. And I feel like it's super important to keep that aspect buttoned up. And if you do, like you're a living example of it, you can prolong your prime.
Right.
You know, I think the prime age for a male combat sports athlete probably starts at 25 or about 28. And I'd say it used to end at 32. Now I think it's ending around like, honestly, if you're under 160 pounds, it's ending around like 36, 37. You know, people are extending their lives is just because of the proper nutrition, lifestyle, recovery, all of that stuff. And I know you take good care of that.
For sure.
I get to see you in the gym every day. And so I know, you know, about what you're doing in the gym. You know, you're redlining most days, right? Especially on those sparring days, but you're still able to show up the next day and give just as much effort. And it has to do with the recovery and stuff. You got anything special that you like to do?
The main thing is take care of your body. That is the main thing. That's the fountain of you. And for me, I'm just into that, period. You know what I'm saying? Not even about like being an athlete and stuff. I'm just really just into that, like learning more about my body, learning how to take care of my body.
It's fascinating.
I do outside of camp, I do fasting. Like some days I just don't eat at all. I won't eat for a few days and stuff like that. Just drink water. I'm into like juices. I'm into I have a cold plunge. I do that a lot. You have to sleep. You have to get saunas. I mean, I'm just into all that stuff, man. Just trying to make my body just way better, because early in my career, I used to get sore all the time, and once I'm sore, man, I can't perform, you know. And now I don't even get sore no more. And I was just learning, all right, how to get better, and I'm learning how to do that now. So I can train hard almost every single day, and the next day I'm good. I can train hard again, and that's like the secret. That's one of the secret sauces, you know. And the main thing, like I said, it's like a secret, but it's not, because it's all out there. But you just gotta learn just how to take care of your body more. You know, it's all about proper nutrition. You know, hydrating, sleep, rest. You know, all that stuff. Like I said, you could do cryo, you could do ice, you could do massages. Just all that. Just really, really take care of your body. You have to know about that stuff. Right before I started sparring, like I think the first day I started sparring, like my head was hurting, and for this camp, my head never hurt. I never have, no matter, I can get hit all day long, my head just never hurts, and it was because I wasn't drinking as much water, you know. Because one thing, how our brains are, you know, our brains sit, our skull obviously is round, it sit like this. Our brains sit in a cup, right, and that cup is filled with water, right, you know, and so you have to get enough hydration. You know, it has to be that cup has to be filled up all the time. So you have to get proper hydration. And at the time, I wasn't drinking enough, and that's how a lot of people get brain damage, because they're not properly hydrated. Right. And so, like I said, it's little things like that I know about. You know, that I'm keen on. I'm aware of it now. You know, you have to just, and I'm just on that. You know, and another thing, I train year round. I don't take breaks like people don't realize. It's
no camp or like you have a camp.
No, it's camp, you know. So I still train every day. Like right now, I train 4 times a day. I'm in camp, so I would train like 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day most of the time. But every single day, no matter what, I have to train every day. Like I said, when I'm here, the only time I don't train is when I'm like traveling, like out the country and all that type of stuff. I'm on vacation, but even when I go to New Orleans, that's still home for me. I still train. I make sure I train like every single day, and when I'm here, like I train every day. It's no breaks, you know. It's nonstop for me. So yeah, just knowing about that stuff and doing all those things, taking those steps, you know, is like super important.
Yeah, I don't know about what restless leg syndrome is, but I think I have it on days that I don't get to train at any kind. Like if I do nothing all day, and Sundays I rest, but if it's a day that's not Sunday, it's like my body knows it and it won't let me go to bed. Like I have to at least go run a mile or something. Right. It's weird. And we were talking about the optimization of the human body. That stuff is fascinating in itself, and athletes have to understand it and at least have somebody around them that can explain it to them. And so for you to take it on your own is really impressive. I'm sure you get a lot of benefit out of that. And like you said, this is a young man's game, so you gotta get out there.
Man, you gotta realize, man, when I was in Vegas, man, I was sparring with, now you look at like a 19-year-old kid. I'm like, bro, you could be my son. You know, I was telling like, bro, like a kid, you know, I'm sparring with these dudes, I'm training with them, and still like I'm beating them and all that stuff in sparring and in all this other stuff, you know, so you competing with all this, and it's like, man, but I still can do it. I still can beat them in sprints. I can still go beat them running. I still can beat them in all the other physical stuff, and I can still spar with them and beat them in that, you know. So it's just like my body is still, I feel like, yeah, you're right. Like my prime is like stretching. It's just like I don't know when it's gonna go down, and I would think that it will start fading around this time, but it's just like it might be getting better.
Right.
You know? I feel like my body just might be getting better, because the thing is, I'm not sore no more. I used to be sore all the time. In training camp, I used to hate. I'm not gonna lie, I used to hate training camp, bro. Like, cause training camp just be so hard every single day. And now, like, I just get up and I love it. Like, I can't wait to train. I can't wait to do this stuff, you know. But
to drive to Main Street, you know, you have your little ritual. You get your coffee or whatever it is. You drive over there. You see all the people you love and get to hang out with.
I just love it, bro. I wouldn't want to do nothing else in the world. You know, like I truly just enjoy it. Like I said, just being around all the fighters and stuff like that too. That's just something I really like. I just like being around the fighters when I'm and when I'm not training. I still want to go do that. You know, I just like go downtown just to go see, and I go wrestle with y'all and play around, and I still, you know, I want to learn that type of stuff too. So
that's you know, not to let everybody in on the inside baseball, but man, the coolest thing about Main Street is the fact that the MMA guys are allowed to come up and spar with you guys, and then you guys return it. Not often do you see the boxers coming into the MMA world, but you guys, everybody at Main Street doesn't bat an eye. They just go right in. You guys jump in with us, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's great for both aspects. The MMA guys are learning a ton because to be completely fair, hands in MMA is nowhere near hands in boxing, but it's because they got to focus on so much other stuff. But when you get to be around the brilliant mind of Bobby Benton and then see world champions like yourself in there every day, you can't help but level up. There's certain things I'll see, either I'll feel them in sparring or I'll watch somebody do them like yourself, and I'm like, well, the whole world of art is about taking a little something here and there. I see something that's working really well. I'm going to see if I can use that, and then you just borrow things from everybody, and I think that's a lot of fun. Like you said, we got a great crowd over at Main Street. Love them over there, everybody from the amateur fighters to the people that want to just train for fun to the champs and the highest level fighters we have. Every one of them, guys, if you're listening, need to be listening to or reading Regis's new book. Brand new book. You want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, brand new book. It came out a few months ago. We was man, at first we was number one seller on Amazon. You know, it was cool, and we didn't even put no marketing into it, nothing. Like, I mean, it's something I just always want to do. Like, if people don't know about me, man, I'm a big reader. Like, I read a lot, man. Like, I'm always like reading stuff. The only time I don't read is now because I'm in camp. Because I don't want to. My day is just way too long, too busy, so I don't have the time. Literally, don't have the time right now. But you know, out of camp, I'm just always reading. But I dropped the book, man. It's something I was working on since like 2017 or something like that, and one of my friends, he wrote the book for me. We grew up together in New Orleans, and a brilliant writer, and man, he wrote a few books before, and I read his books, and I was like, look, bro, like, your books are really good. Like I read a lot. I'm not just saying this. Like, I actually read books, so I can't compare it. You know, a lot of people, you might give a book, they never read books in their life, so they don't really know. For me, you know, it's like I'm not gonna say I'm a connoisseur, but like I read a lot, you know, so I know I can't compare it. And I was like, man, you know, I think he was like, man, that's cool, man. We need to do something. And so we started jotting things down since like 2017, 2018. Wow. And the book was done right when I left to go to California before I started training for the Haney fight. You know. Wow.
So it took like 6 years or something.
It took years, but we made the process, so he made it so easy for me. You know, we start putting the pedal on the gas a lot, like the last few months. That's when we started really putting the pedal just really getting down to it. But at first it was just real easy. He'll send me things. We'll do interviews on the phone, on FaceTime and stuff. We'll just be talking for like hours, just like we're talking right now, but he'll have the questions ready. And then we'll send voice notes a lot. We do a lot of voice notes, and man, it's just, you know, and it's crazy, man. Like, he's almost done part 2. We're definitely doing a part 2.
Dude,
so he's awesome. Almost done part 2 already, because so much stuff happened because we ended the book on after I was a 2-time world champion. That's when we ended it. So now, since that happened, all that, like, so much more stuff happened, you know, in my life, personal life, boxing life, and he jotted all that stuff down. And a lot of people don't realize, like, man, it's about box, but it's, you know, obviously I'm a boxer, so it's gonna be in that, but it's not really. It's not a boxing book,
No.
You know.
It's a human and his life, right?
Yeah, it's just about my life and like what I've been through, and just like I said, lessons, man. I'm a big person on like lessons. Everything in life is instruction. If you really pay attention to it, you know what I'm saying? Like no matter what, so you have to really pay attention to life, and that's how I am. I always look at life like that. No matter what happens, I always look at, all right, what can I learn from this? How can I be better from this? And you know, that's what it is.
I love that, man. And you keeping it in New Orleans, local, having a guy write it that you knew growing up. That sort of stuff. I feel like your story would only be told best from somebody from your same neck of the woods, and that understands you and sort of the culture and the life that takes place down in New Orleans. And you know, that's really cool. I'd love to hear more about the insides of writing a book. I've never had the privilege of doing anything like that. So another time we'll chat about that.
Right.
But let's put a bookmark on it, guys. Thank you so much for checking this out. This is Regis Prograis, two-time world champion, soon to be three-time world champion. He's fighting October 26th over in Manchester. He's fighting Jack Catterall, tough guy, but you guys know where to put your money. It's going to be on Regis Prograis. And the fight's going to be incredible. You're going to love it. You can catch it on DAZN. Regis, you got anything else for him? You want to plug anything?
Man, just tune in October 26th on the road right now to becoming a three-time champion. Yeah, go if you didn't grab the book already, go grab the book, Stories and Lessons from Regis Prograis. It's on Amazon, and hopefully it'll be in a bookstore pretty soon.
That's right. Stories and Lessons from Regis Prograis. You guys have a great rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in.